Well, goodness gracious, we are live. Welcome back. Welcome back to another special Friday stream. And Friday stream, what's going on there, Colin, you might ask. And you would be right to ask because we have actually a special guest on stream today. This will be no surprise to those of you who saw last week's stream, but we have with us today the one, the only, the inimitable Quain. Quain, say hello.
Pita, pita, jata.
Goodness gracious, that's not English. That's another
Yeah,
language
it's
altogether.
well, yeah.
So, this leads into our topic for today, which is a live demonstration of linguistic fieldwork. We are going to be documenting a conlang with Quain.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we tell them any preliminary bits of information or anything you'd like to say,
Well,
Quain, to introduce today's topic?
yeah, I should probably just put a few disclaimers out there because I'm not a fluent speaker of this language. Two, I might have to fiddle some things in order for the sentences, or I might create some words on the fly, but that's gonna be okay. But still, it's a language still in progress, and some of you might have seen it already, like in Discord or in other places. But for demonstration purposes, it's fine. Yeah, we'll get through. So yeah.
Yeah, our goal is to sort of show basically how some of the processes that linguists use in order to figure out what's going on with the grammar of a language to understand more about it. And so, a lot of the data that we get in that you see in linguistic papers or in published grammars, this is where it comes from. And I think when you were doing theories and when we're running stats on big data sets, it's often good to
Mm-hmm.
understand where ultimately a lot of the data came from and what the process was by which we came to understand anything about a lot of these languages to begin with.
Yeah, I think spiritually, I'm a field worker by heart, so I would, field work is something that is very near and dear to everything basically. So when you do field work, you have to figure out from phonology to morphology to syntax to pragmatics to all aspects of the language. So I truly admire those field workers who do a grammar of X language as undocumented language as a dissertation because it's a lot of work. Is really you have to go to the place, you have to really know the language of the people. So yeah, really, but it's really valuable work because languages are dying every day. It's a sad truth. So yeah, you have to document them before they die. So yeah.
And my own background with field linguistics is fairly minor as far as it goes. Mainly, my work was theoretical and typological and a little bit historical, but I did get a
Hmm.
little bit of training in field methods uh, through my undergrad and then again in grad school where I did a little bit of it. So that's the background I'm coming from, which means I'm no expert. So what that means for you, chat, is that we're all going to be doing this together. So not just me asking questions, but I'm going to open the door and throw open the sashes of the window and invite all of you to give suggestions, things that you want to follow up on, questions that you want answered, and we're going to see what we can do together. So that's the plan. Shall we welcome YouTube in?
Yep,
I think it's
sure.
time. I think it's time. Well, YouTube, welcome. We have Quain here on with us today, and we're going to be working on a field linguistics challenge today. And what that means is we're going to try and demonstrate some of the techniques used in linguistic field work, which is the process of documenting languages and collecting linguistic data. So we're going to examine this with the help of Quain, who will be in the role of our consultant, the speaker of the language that we're interested in learning more about. and with the help of the chat, who will be our research team. So that's the plan. Quain, would you like to say hello to YouTube?
Peter.
All right, looks like we are in session already. So let's jump over to the side webcam. There we go. Apologies for the infinite screen. IPA keyboard up, spreadsheet up. We are ready to go. All right. So, Rising Rose, thank you. A valuable reminder to all of our friends on the internet to hydrate and stretch, the two things necessary for good health. All right. So, with spreadsheet in one hand and IPA keyboard in the other, I think it's time for us to start our work. All right. So, first of all, we've already heard a little bit of this language, haven't we? Quain, the way that you greeted me, could you say that again? I think I'd like to write that down.
So just you or everybody?
Well, let's start with me and then see about everybody.
Okay. 需要
All right. So
需要
our first step is to try and come to grips with what sort of sounds this language uses. And for this, we need our trusty IPA keyboard. So in that, I heard, and this is my first draft, I heard a voiceless bilabial fricative, which is here, this symbol here, voiceless bilabial fricative. I then heard a high front vowel and something glottal. Quain, would you mind saying that again?
需要
All right, so I think we're dealing with a voiced glottal fricative, followed by a low back vowel that seemed long, although I could be wrong about that. And there also seemed to be some pitch difference between the two syllables. So if we are to notate that, we can use a number of different systems. The IPA provides two different ways of notating tone. This option up here, which has a staff to the right and then little sticks off to the left. These look a little bit like runes, actually. And then the diacritic, the tonal diacritics listed below. So I think, why don't we start off with the tonal diacritics, and if that gets unmanageable, we can switch over. So I think we have a low tone on this last syllable. Jack, it is correct to say that without any other data points, it could be a stress difference. So we have to see. But for now, Quain, could I hear that again?
需要
Dayala, hot take, prefers the tone letters. We could do that too, if that would be easier to read. So in that case, I might give something like a medium tone, a mid tone, and a low tone. But if we were to use the diacritics, it will come out like this. All right. So this is some sort of greeting. This is our fieldwork notebook right here. And we don't know the name of this language yet, so that's something that we could ask. So let's put some big question marks here. All right, there we go. That's pretty. And we can put in our first utterance, which I'm transcribing as something like fiant. All right, anything from the chat? Oh, we got a question for you, Quain. a question in from Malat in the chat. What do you think about the Abkhaz language?
It's cool. Yeah, it has like a lot of consonant and only two vowels, so it's like a very, you know, peculiar system. So yeah, I like it.
I feel it's always dangerous to ask a linguist, what do you think of X language? Because the inevitable
Right.
answer will be it's cool,
Yeah.
which is true. All right, so we had one greeting. You also greeted everyone else, and how did you greet everyone else?
Yatta.
Ah, all right. So how are we going to notate this? And Quain, I
Okay.
apologize. I'm going to ask you to repeat things a few times.
Yeah. It's the deal. Yatta.
All right. I hear. Let's get the vowels first. I hear ah and ah. I could be wrong about that first one. I'm not so sure I'm wrong about the second one. The first one might be a little farther to the front. I heard some kind of palatal quality before the first vowel, and I heard some kind of coronal consonant like t before the second vowel. All right. Quain, could you say that again, please?
Yatta.
Yeah, I think these two qualities are different. And keep in mind that at this point, we are not trying to work out what sounds are contrastive. We're just trying to figure out what sounds are there, what phones are there.
Mm-hmm.
So something. Where is our? Oh yeah, it's just this. I heard, and yeah, Ship is picking up on this too. I heard some kind of stop-like closure in the onset of this first syllable. So whether that's going to be something like gata, gata, something like that. Maybe we have this long mark and a low tone as well on the final vowel. Quinn, could I hear that again, please?
Yatta.
Gata. Yeah, so it looks like we have some kind of perhaps palatal stop, then maybe with opening up into a diphthong, because palatal stops on their own like to transition quite frequently. It's very, at least in my experience, I've seen a lot of cases where phonemically, contrastively, there's a palatal stop, but then you get a lot of that palatalization on the vowel to the point where you get a diphthong of some kind. Ooh. The chat just caught up. Northwestern mapping. Sounds like a glottal stop at the end of the first syllable. Yeah, I think there is something like that there. Quinn, could you say that again, please?
Yatta.
Yatta. Yeah, maybe there's some kind of glottalization. And just like we did with the historical linguistics challenge, all of these are hypotheses. This notation is subject to revision as we learn more. I remember in undergrad we did a field methods class and the language that we were working with was Inuktitut, and we started off doing the sort of the phonetic and phonological bit of the process, and we started off hearing all sorts of different things than we ended up thinking we heard anyway. So
right, you always do.
Yeah, you sort of you start off with your first guess kind of all over the place, and you gradually refine as you hear more, because
right. Also, I loved how the discussion, like, is it stress, is it tone, is it like pitch accent, like what is
yeah,
it? So yeah,
yeah, what indeed.
you don't know yet. So yeah.
So we're taking this as very broad, a very very phonetic transcription. We're making no claims about what the system is like at all yet. All right, so questions from the chat. Galactic Sand is asking, or is at least remarking that it might be interesting to see how the quality of your mic might obfuscate some of the sounds. And I happen to know that this mic is a fairly decent one, from my understanding. So hopefully that's not going to play too much of a role. Then Ship asks, is the first consonant voiced or just unaspirated? Good question. This is something that we would probably be able to answer much better if we had a spectrogram. But we will try it the old-fashioned way. Quain, could you say that second utterance again, please?
Yatta.
Yatta. Yatta.
Ja, 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 ja.
Ja, ja, ja. Ja, yatta. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it could be just a voiceless palatal stop. And then getting a suggestion to come in.
Thank you, Lucy.
To turn up the audio a little bit. Happy to do that. All right. I don't know why I can't just go right back to all of them. Okay, so that's done now. There's a question of, is there aspiration from where? I saw it twice. Galactic Sand and someone else said it. There might be aspiration on the second syllable. So then in that case, we'd have something like yatta. So
Yeah, Paul.
Yeah,
Paul.
Yeah, I hear that now. Let's put that as our hypothesis. So we have something kind of, in both cases, we have this this low toned or this lower pitch second syllable, and we have a higher pitch, which I've notated as a mid tone by just leaving off any diacritic whatsoever. I've noted it as a mid tone here. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's my first go. So a greeting said to one person. Now this is an issue. When you are encountering a language and, say, in this situation, someone greets you, how do you gloss that? What's your analysis of what that means? I've said it's a greeting said to one person because we then heard another greeting said to many people.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my gloss here is assuming that the relevant distinction is number. It may not be. It may be that the first one was said to me because Quain and I are friends, and the second one is a more socially distant form. Maybe it's not number at all.
Cool. Yeah.
So it's kind of hard. How do you figure out what the distinctions are? And the answer is just get more data. Galactic Sand also pointing out that we're getting, with one consultant, we're getting one person's idiolect. And that's absolutely true. Now, in this case, I don't think we have a much larger community of speakers, given this is a Conlang. So,
unfortunately, no.
But it's true that that it's a potential confounding factor. If you're only getting information from one person. All right. So Jack points out maybe it depends on the time. Maybe we ticked over from morning to evening in between the time that those two things were said. So that's also possible. Or the first one distinguishes gender. So there are all sorts of possibilities here. But I want to point out something interesting, which we have something similar in both cases. This low-toned or low pitch. I'm saying low pitch because I don't want to make any hypothesis about whether this is a tone system or not. This low-pitched, long, low back vowel at the end of both. And we also have a glottal fricative, this h, before the and in the second utterance, let's give this a number. So in utterance 2. We have aspiration. At least for now, we think we have aspiration. It's not unheard of for aspiration on a consonant and glottal fricatives to have some sort of relationship between them. Maybe some sort of a Sandhi relationship. Matteo, yes, sorry, I don't see the messages on Twitch because unfortunately my second monitor has been taken from me, and I don't. I'm only looking over at YouTube on the right. Unfortunately, something's happened with the streaming software, and it doesn't send them all the time either. And Twitch seems especially vulnerable to that. Maybe there's something I can do about that. Right. Oh, no, wait, there. I see Twitch now. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. This is not my strong suit. Figuring out these streaming settings. I say honestly to you, chat, that there has not been a single time that I've done this stream that it has gone well, in a technical sense. However, virtually every time it goes well in a fun sense. So I think, I'll take that. Okay, so back to our session. All right. Here's a question. What is the name of this language? All right. So I hear something ai. I hear something high back and unrounded at the end. This vowel seems higher in pitch, and I hear a glottal stop in between. Yeah. I'm fairly happy with that. So, name of the language. Now the question is, I have mids and lows in 1 and 2, and then I have a mid and a high in 3. I don't know if I'm using the same scale for all of these. So, Quain, could you say the name of the language could you say a greeting said to one person and then the name of the language?
Okay. 你好,
Yeah, so I think that this is correct. Mid-low, mid-high. And that utterance that you just said, does that make sense? If you were to put those two together?
Not really.
Not
No.
really. All right. So
yeah, because you can't greet a language, can you?
No, that's a very strange thing to do.
Yeah.
All right. So let's hear from the chat. Chat, you've seen what we've been doing so far. What we've been doing is trying to come to grips with the sounds of this language, which appears to be called How did I do there?
Like 80%.
Okay, 80%. We'll take 80%. So now I will turn the mic over to you, figuratively speaking, chat. What would you like to know? We have maybe a potential relationship between utterances 1 and 2. We're starting to have ideas about different levels of pitch, maybe some of the consonants that are in this language. What strikes your fancy? What would you like to learn about next?
Yeah, just seeing chat catching up.
Lots of good stuff in here. Taga's asking, is there an initial glottal stop? In which one? In the in utterance 3? Quain, could you say utterance 3 again? That does kind of sound like there's a glottal stop at the front. I'll put that in. Um, uh, uh, is that any better than my first attempt?
A little bit.
Maybe that
Try
glottis.
again.
Uh, uh.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. All right. All right. So we got lots of good stuff here. Shiv's asking, how do you say soup?
Yeah, do you want that? Mm-hmm.
Yes, please.
Whoosh.
Okay. Okay. I heard maybe something like a lateral fricative, if my ears don't deceive me.
Whoosh.
Here's my attempt, chat. Maybe a palatal fricative. All right. Quain, could you say that soup word again, please?
Whoosh.
I kind of hear a falling tone on that, or a falling pitch. How is my pronunciation of that, Quain?
Yeah, it's all right.
All right.
Well, I can whoosh or shoosh. Both are okay.
Both are okay. Interesting. And are both okay. So we have some. We could call this free variation, maybe. We could say this is multiple acceptable. There are multiple acceptable variants. Soup. All right. So, Galactic Santa's asking, could you say that soup word again, please?
Whoosh.
All right. Okay. Jack is saying that the vowel sounds a little bit farther forward than I've transcribed it here. So, how does that sound?
Whoosh.
Versus hlih.
Whoosh.
Which one of the ones I said was better?
Mm-hmm. Say the
I'll say them
again.
Yeah.
The second one.
The second one. Okay. So let's move this vowel a bit farther forward in the mouth. Oh, and I need to get the tones on. And we'll redo this with the falling tone. Taga, mark that soup vowel as long. I agree. That's a good point. That does sound pretty long. Okay. And now I'm wondering about this vowel. This vowel. Quain, is it hlih or hlih?
Say both again.
Hlih or hlih?
The first one sounds more like it.
Okay, the first one. So that's this rounded version. And the name of the language, could you say that again? Okay, I think that one might be a different vowel than the vowel in soup. Now, why might we hear an unrounded back vowel and a rounded mid vowel, rounded mid high vowel, unrounded mid back vowel as the same or as similar? Or why might we be confused between them? Or why might we be confused as why might we consider a rounded front vowel as a potential candidate for this vowel? It's very strange that we have some hypotheses of unrounded back, some of rounded front, some of rounded or unrounded mid, and there's actually a decent phonetic reason for this, the details of which I can't recite off by heart, but basically there are similar acoustic cues for unrounded back and rounded front vowels. which is kind of interesting. All right, so onwards and upwards. I saw some. Yes, there's some. Oops, that's the wrong thing to press. Go back. Go back. I accidentally pressed the Streamlabs window. All right, so now I would ask for the second person pronoun singular and plural if there's a number distinction. Now, one issue is that we can't assume that there exists such things in this language as second person pronouns. So we have to try and get at it without directly asking for it. So if such things exist, so let's try and come up with a sentence. Quain, if you were to tell me that I eat soup, which you know is a lie,
So
but
you eat soup, right? Yeah, Colin eats soup and telling it to you.
Exactly.
Right?
How do you say that?
Okay, let me just... Okay. One moment.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that one is a lot. So let me do it again. Okay.
Okay, so let's start and try and get the vowels. So I heard this word without, it's not in a falling, not with falling pitch, but with what seems to be high pitch to me. Then there is something E-ish, something oh, sorry, Quinn, could you say it again, please? E-hu. So it seems like we have that same vowel, that same barred U, and some kind of fricative before that. E-hu. Sorry, Quinn, could you say it again, please? Yeah, maybe it's a palatal fricative.
Yeah. This is like the hell of a first sentence to have.
This doesn't sound as high this time though. Oh yeah, there is a bit of that. Oops. That's the wrong. There we go. I hear something relatively low, something in the middle, and then something that falls down a bit at the end. So maybe we have a low e hu lu. How does that sound?
Say that again.
You're
missing the first consonant.
Ah. All right. Could you say it again then, please?
E. No.
Better?
No, look at the first one.
Ah. Fee. Okay, I could not hear that at all. I just heard fricative. My ears are just saying fricative. And I was like, okay, let's choose some random ones. So, fee, shu, slush. Okay. Ooh, putting me through my paces here. She, slu. How is that?
Yeah,
You eat soup. Now we don't know that these are separate words, so I'm just going to take out the boundaries between them. But I'm starting to suspect that maybe this hlü is a separate word, because here we have it on its own. So, utterance 5. Interestingly, as is being pointed out by multiple people in the chat, it seems like we have isolated something else. This fi, although I've given it a different tone on 5 and 1, maybe that's not a good idea. Quain, would it be possible to say a greeting to someone and then tell them that they eat soup?
Okay. Fia, she.
Fia. All right. I no longer think that this is low. I think we have isolated something else here. So some sort of a second person pronoun. This mid-toned fi. And it looks like this might be the second person pronoun you. Although what other information it has is unknown. Quain, if I were to say fi on its own, is that something that you could say?
I can say fi. Yeah. Fi is it's something that you have to figure out. So yeah.
All right. Is it the same something that's in this utterance 5? Or
yeah, I would say more or less. Yeah, it's related. So
okay.
Definitely, yeah.
So you can say fi. Did I do that okay?
Yeah, fi or fi.
All right. So then we have something that feels to me like a long. Where is it? There it is. Long, high. Oops. Fi or fi. So it seems that wherever we have this long, oops, I don't know why I wrote that like this. What I meant is this. Sorry, I'm in my own world right now. I'll come back to reality in a second. I just realized I made a mistake. So it seems whenever we have this long high tone, it can also be a long falling tone. Okay, so let's try and collect this. So we have this variation between fi and fi. Did I say those okay, by the way?
Yeah, fi.
Would it be, if I said fi, would that work? Does that still mean the same thing?
Yeah, it means the same thing, but you're a little bit off sounding.
Okay, so maybe this isn't actually high then. Maybe it starts out mid. And I think at this point we may have to resort to different ways of writing these these tonal contours. But nevertheless, let's say it's either mid or some kind of falling, not necessarily falling from high. And
Yeah, I said fi is not. Yeah, it sounds off. Although it means the same thing, but it sounds off.
Okay,
yeah.
It sounds off. So let's put in a little notes section. When said with it sounds off, it means the same thing, but it sounds off. Okay. All right. So I think let's let's put in a cut here and take stock of where we've got to. So I'm going to scoot back to the full screen webcam. Hello, friends. We've been doing some real fieldwork here. Quain, thank you so much for providing us with this amazing opportunity to learn your Conlang.
Could have passed.
Oh, I know what we're gonna have to do when we get back. All right, everyone. Well, come back next time because we're gonna keep it up. Okay, and chat, we're gonna keep it up right now, so you don't even have to come back next time. Alrighty.
Okay. Hydrate, stretch.
Yeah, hydrate, stretch. I'm gonna just take a minute to do exactly that, and I will be at I.
Doing fine.
Hello, everyone. We are back. Okay, so rock and roll. Rock and or roll. If you don't feel in the mood to do both, make sure you do one. All right, we are back here with Quain. Quain, say hello. Jata. We are learning Quain's Conlang through linguistic field methods. So we are going to learn a little bit more about how to do it. I don't know exactly what we're going to find. But so far we have found that it's actually quite difficult to try and figure out just what sounds we're hearing. So when you see transcriptions, IPA transcriptions on Wikipedia or in a linguistics paper or in a textbook or something, know that those transcriptions are hard won because it is no simple matter to hear something and transcribe it. All right, so with that in mind, let's go back in and let's continue our work. I'll do the YouTube hello now. YouTube, we are back. We are learning Quain's Conlang through field methods. We are asking Quain, as our linguistic consultant, how to say various things. And from this, we're trying to come up with a description of the grammar of this language. So if that sounds like fun to you, you are in the right place because we are here with Quain and we're about to go in. Quain, say hello to our YouTube friends.
Yata, YouTube.
Yata. How did I do there?
Yeah.
All right. We're learning something. There we go. And oops, I think I figured out how to see the Twitch chat. I just saw that. Huh. Look at me. Learning new things every day. Okay, so
Winning at technology.
That's
a rare occurrence.
I am winning, baby. All right, so here we are. We have 6 utterances currently on the books, and this seems we have a hypothesis about the 6th one, which is that it's some kind of second person pronoun, question mark. All right, so let's try and isolate a little bit more. I saw in the chat there was a suggestion to say, you make soup. And this is interesting. This is kind of like this is a way of holding things constant and changing one element. It's very, very scientific. So we have the sentence, you eat soup. Quain, how would you say you make soup?
去挖须
All right.
去挖须
Fiwa. Fiwa. Li. Fiwa. Li. How does that sound?
Yeah, perfect.
All right. Fiwa. Li.
去挖须
Fiwa. Li. All right. Chat. What do we think about this transcription? Fiwa. Li. I hear really the new thing is in the middle. I hear a voiced bilabial fricative, va. I hear the low back vowel, which we've heard before. I gave it a length marker because it sounds long. Fiwa li.
No, 去挖须
Fiwa li. Okay.
去挖须
Maybe it's not so long. Maybe it's not so long after all. Fiwa li.
去挖须
This is something, by the way, friends of the internet, that you have to watch out for when you're doing these sessions. Sometimes when people give you words, sentences, and you ask the same thing over and over again, they'll start to emphasize something, and then you'll start to get things. You'll start to record vowel length, maybe where there isn't any, if you'd say it in a sentence normally, or pitch contours that you wouldn't normally hear. So that's something to keep in mind. All right. Fiwa li.
去挖须
Li. Fiwa li. Okay. You make soup. So from this, we can start to factor things out. So we have this he, which is being used in utterance 5, which perhaps means eat, and va, which perhaps means make, at least make in the sense that applies to soup, and similarly eat in the sense that applies to soup. Now, I'm going to mark something down here, which is that these are hypotheses. So certain things Quain hasn't actually said, but we want to have a way of referring to them. All right. Quain, can you say he on its own?
He.
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 No, he.
He.
He. He.
He.
He. He is a different word. He is, yeah.
He. Right. So is this the same word in utterance 5, you eat soup?
Yes.
Okay. And you can say that on its own.
But it means something else.
Interesting. What does it mean?
Drink.
Drink. Interesting. Okay, so now this has been said, so we can enter it in as a data point. So you eat soup, but literally you drink soup. And that makes a certain amount of sense. Soup isn't really a food.
Huh. Wait a minute.
Quain, you didn't see that, but it was accompanied with a knowing stare at the camera.
Oh.
And
Okay.
Yeah. And could I say va on its own?
Yeah.
And what does that mean if I say it on its own?
Do.
Do. Interesting. So right away, now we actually know quite a bit. It seems that we have two transitive sentences here. You drink soup, you do soup. So from that, we can make a hypothesis that we are dealing with some sort of an SVO word order. Let's see if we can learn anything else about this. Quain, you can say "Phi ba lü," modulo my poor pronunciation.
Yeah, forgiven.
Can you say "Phi ba" anything else?
Yeah, phi ba och.
Phi ba och. Och. Am I saying that right?
Och.
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 Och. And what does "phi ba och" mean?
You do work.
You do work. Och is work. Interesting. Although that's my hypothesis. If I say "och" on its own, is that possible?
Yeah.
Okay. You do work. All right. Phi ba och. Is it better for me to say och or och?
Och.
Och. How did I do there?
Yeah, I think och.
Och. Is it better for me to say och or och?
Och.
Is that closer to the first one I said or the second one?
I think the second. Say them again.
Och. Och.
Och.
Ah, och. All right, so that's more of a velar fricative, I think. Okay, phi ba och.
Yeah, Ship said very relatable sound for work. I agree.
And if I say it like this, och, is it better than och?
The same. I don't. Yeah. Or say them again, side by side.
Och. Och.
It's not that much of a difference. Yeah.
Is either one a bit closer?
Och. I would
Och.
say it's somewhere in the middle, perhaps.
Interesting. Okay, so it looks like we have something that's fairly right, sort of dead center in those mid vowels. So I'm going to transcribe that with this closed O. But phonetically, we may be a little bit lower than that. But I don't generally mark those quality distinctions that intensely. Okay, so there's by the way, I think I probably mentioned this in an earlier video, but there's a sort of a way of transcribing vowels called the cardinal vowel system, where you use the symbol for the closest vowel. So there are these certain idealized vowels in the vowel space, which have IPA symbols associated with them, and then you simply use that symbol for whatever the language has that's closest to that. And so that's the system that I'm using here. All right, so some may say that.
Or when the speaker says it doesn't really matter, like take that.
Take that. You know. That's data.
Yeah.
Versus. Okay. So it's always nice to have a little notes column, because you're going to learn a lot that doesn't really fit into a rigid schema, and you're going to want to refer back to that later. Okay, so onwards and upwards. Chad, what do we think? What do we want to ask about next? And in the meantime, Quain, you said something right when we left our previous stream. Do you recall what that was?
Oh, the bus.
Bas.
Bus.
Bas.
Bus.
Where is my bus? Bus. How is that when I say bus?
Bus.
Bus.
Yeah, a little bit shorter.
Bus.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that mean?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Bus. Now, is that what you would say to thank me or to thank our audience?
I would say the same thing for both. Yeah. Or I can say something like a few bus if I'm being excessive, but you don't need it.
Would you mind saying that that second one again?
A few bus.
Bus.
Yeah. Or a few bus.
Okay. Bus.
A few bus is
Bus.
the fuller form. Like nobody uses it. I mean, we just say a bus.
Bus. Is that right?
There's something wrong there. A few bus.
Bus.
A few bus. Bus.
Bus. Bus. A bus. Bus. How does it sound now?
Say it again.
Bus.
More or less. A few bus. Like everything's short, I think.
Bus.
A few bus.
Oops. So it looks like we have something interesting going on here. All right, so bus, is that fi in the middle the same fi as in fi ba hlü?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And do you know if that bus has a literal meaning, like a more literal meaning, or is it just something that means thank you?
What do you mean? Do you want to like directly translate it into English, or like what's the it means so technically it means I thank.
I see. So could I then say va hlü?
Wait, say that again.
Va hlü.
Va hlü.
Va hlü.
That should be va hlü, but I get what you mean.
Va hlü. Hlü. It's a hard vowel for me.
Yeah. So if I say, so we got a va hlü, right? That means you make soup. So if I say va hlü, that means I make soup.
Va hlü. Is that first word first sound I?
No, it's va hlü.
Va hlü. Am I way off on that?
Va hlü. Yeah, you're like try again.
Va hlü.
Yeah. Va hlü.
Va hlü.
Yeah.
Va hlü. Is that the sound in the first? Is that first sound the same as the sound in the word for soup?
What do you mean the first sound?
Like I.
No, it's not.
It's not the same.
Yeah. Va hlü. Listen to it again. Va hlü.
이와리. Is it the same sound as in the word for you?
Yes.
Okay. So perhaps what we have here is something more like this. A high front vowel. Ifibas.
No,
Ifibas.
listen to me. Listen to me again. I will say, thank you, and I make soup. All right. So, ubas versus iwashu.
Okay, so there is a difference here. So we actually don't have the same vowel in both of these. Interesting. Okay. All right. So that's interesting. So I make soup. Sounds a bit different than the I in thank you.
Well, I could, you can say ibas, but I would say ubas more than ibas. But ibas is also understandable.
All right. Okay, so now something that we have, okay, that's no longer a hypothesis, something that we can ask questions about, which is this word I think, you think. Interesting. Okay. All right. So this iwahli means I make soup.
Well, sorry. A better way to say number 12 might be ifibas instead of ifibas.
Ah, ifibas. Interesting. Okay, cool. Cool. Chat. Where should we go from here? Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can catch up. All right. Oh, that's a good question. Mateo asks, "Do you make soup?" So, Quain, if I were to ask you that question, do you make soup? How would you?
How do I say it as a question?
As
right?
A question, yeah.
Okay. 휘바슈니까?
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 All right, so it seems that we have something else going on. Ka. 휘바슈니까. Does that sound like a fairly decent rendition?
Yeah, 휘바슈니까? No, that is not. Yeah.
Which one is
wrong?
Not?
No, it's just 휘바슈니까. 휘바슈니까 is the correct one. Yeah.
휘바슈니까.
Yeah, I messed up the tones there, but.
All right, so 휘바슈니까. All right, so it looks like when we make a question, something happens at the end. Let's learn more about this. How would you say, do you work?
휴영가. Fionga.
Fionga. Ah. Okay. So, and I see. Oh, this. Yeah. Sorry, Queen. Would you mind asking? Do you make soup again?
Fiwasunga.
Linga. Is it? If I were to say it, Linga, is that better than Linga?
Say the two again.
Linga. Linga.
The first one is not correct.
Okay. So we need a velar nasal here. Thank you, Jack, and Maj, and Yarrito, and everyone else who heard that before me. Okay, and then for do you work, it's something like fionga. Is that right?
Yeah. Fionga.
Okay, I don't want to put in spaces where they're not necessarily justified. And is there a difference between fionga and fivaonga?
Fivaonga. Yeah, you can yeah. Both are okay, I think.
So would you mind saying the version with the va? Does that
Yeah. Fivaonga.
okay? And that makes sense. That's a fine way of saying it.
Yeah, it's like, do you do work?
Mm.
That's literally what it means.
Do you do work? Well, we can certainly answer yes to that. Excellent. Excellent. All right. So, Jack's asking, is it on? Is it on or on?
I can't hear the difference. No.
Yeah, me neither. Apparently. So that's interesting. All right, chat. What else? I saw. Oh, I saw some requests for intransitive verbs. Okay. All right. What would be a good intransitive verb to use? How would you say? Well, let's just start. How would you say I sleep?
Okay. I sleep, right?
Ubo.
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 Bo.
Bo.
Yeah. Ubo.
Ubo. This doesn't seem to be so low. Ubo. Ubo.
Ubo. Ubo.
Ubo. Here's my Ubo. I sleep.
Ubo.
Ubo.
Yeah, let's do it again. Ubo.
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 Ubo. Ubo. Long. Maybe.
Ubo.
Ubo. Not long. Ubo. Ubo.
Ubo.
Okay. Sleep. a question from the chat from Mateo. Could I say, if I said ifipanka, does that make sense?
Well, you wouldn't say that because that means, do I thank you, right? So
Right.
like, but yeah, it's an awkward sentence
It's
to say.
an awkward sentence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But it literally, yeah, it translates to do I thank you. So yeah. You said wait, if you banka, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you banka means do I thank you. And
but it's a bit of an awkward thing to say because that does.
Yeah, but you say like, right, yeah.
But maybe there's some strange or contrived situation in which you might say it.
I would say like I don't thank you is probably like more. It makes more sense. But
how would you say that?
if you banga,
Ifipanga.
if you banga,
Ah.
oh,
Ifipanga.
yeah, ubanga, sorry, ubanga is I don't thank is the more common form of
All right. So banra.
ubanga,
Banra.
yeah, ra, ubanga.
Ra. Where does that live? Banra.
Yeah, or if you banga, if you want to be excessive. But...
Mm-hmm. Now, vanra. Is that? Does that sound right?
Banga, yeah.
Banra.
Banga.
So, chat. I'm wondering what is going on with the pitch system because I don't think I've got a common scale for all of these. I noticed the contours. I noticed the fact that there are changes, but I don't have any way of anchoring these. What's high? Is it high low? Is it mid low? Is it in any given word? This is the challenge that I'm facing right now because I don't have absolute pitch. I can only really hear the change. So that is affecting my analysis here.
Ubanga.
Banra.
Ubanga.
Banra.
Ubanga.
Banra.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And so this is where we have to deal with the strong filters of our own perception, that which we hope to make a little less strong as we develop as linguists, but will inevitably be there to a certain degree. And the more trained field workers have are able to hear a lot more distinctions. Myself, as someone who's last did this, over a decade ago, but at least we're being sensitized to the kinds of issues that arise. Howdy, Sutton. Is the fricative velar or uvular? Okay, so Quain, if I say ban ra, does that sound better than ban ra?
Ubanga.
Ban ra.
Yeah. Ubanga.
Ban ra. Ra. Ra.
Ra. Ubanga.
Oh, ban ra.
Ubanga.
Ban ra. Does that sound okay?
Yeah. I think the ubanga sounds better than ubanga.
Ban ra.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter.
I don't think, yeah. Oh, by the way, I just think of it doesn't matter is nyabonga.
Nyabonga. Nyabonga.
Nyabonga. It's not a question, it's a negative. So nyabonga.
Nyabonga.
Yeah, which translates to something like it's not in my heart. It's not in heart. So yeah, if it's not in my heart, it doesn't matter. So
Nyabonga. So this is my transcription chat. Nyabonga. Quain, how does that sound?
nyabonga.
Nyabonga.
Yeah. The center part is like lowest. Yeah. Nyabonga.
Nyabonga.
Yeah. Nyabonga.
All right. All right. So, what else are we looking at here? I have a question coming in from chat from Marco Coco 5. If I were to say bo, is that better than saying bo? Bo?
Yes, the first one is correct. The second one is it's wrong.
A bit wrong. A lot wrong.
Yeah, not a bit wrong. Yeah, it's it can be a different word, but it's not a different word, but it can be.
It could, yeah. Okay. Bo.
Bo.
Bo. All right. So, we're getting a question in. Oh, we're getting a lot of questions in. Oh, yeah, that's a good point, Marco. It's a velar nasal there. Sorry, I had a question there, and I lost it because the chat moved up. Okay. Are there any others? This is coming from Mateo. Are there any other sentences starting with ifipang?
Ifipang, you mean? Or ifibas?
I'm not sure exactly what the intention of the question. Oop, I clicked on it. That was a mistake. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly because
So ifibas means I thank you, right?
Yeah, we have that one already. Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly what.
And if you banga means I don't thank you, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, is it ifipanga or ifipanga?
I don't hear the difference. Say those again.
Ifipanga.
Ifipanga is I don't. Yeah.
Oh, if I'm asking
is a question.
Yeah, if I'm asking a question, is it ifipanga or ifipanga?
Ifipanga or that ifipanga. Ifipanga.
Pipanga. Fivaonga.
Fivaonga. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And that ifipanga one's actually a bit weird, so I shouldn't use that as an example.
Yeah. It's like it's not really Form a better question.
So if I think so Mateo's rephrased the question. If you say ifipang, is that a meaningful sentence?
That's nothing.
That's
no. Yeah.
That's just mean, no.
Yeah. You have to ifipanga means it's a question. Ifipanga means it's not something. And ifibas is the the positive form.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, chat. We are coming a little bit close to our our finish time today, but let's get a little bit more done. Do we have anything else that we want to ask? Any hypotheses you want to explore? I have one. Here's my hypothesis. If I say, or rather, I'll ask you, how do you say, I don't sleep?
Ubonga.
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 Ubonga. Ah. I don't sleep. What about yeah, so Marco's got an interesting theory. Okay, so is there anything in this language, would you translate sorry, let me figure out how to phrase this. Is there a way to say something like, I was thanked by you?
It would be like, yeah, there is, but it would be awkward because we don't usually say that. But I can, I can try and just, it's grammatical, I think. But yeah, wait, what was it? I was thanked by you, right? So if let me think. If you should pass, is I am thanked by you. Yeah.
If he flew.
Not flew, is shu. Yeah.
If he.
It's actually very similar to the word drink.
If you pass.
If you should pass. Yeah, I think so drink is shu, right? And this is like if you should pass is like, yeah, is a whole sentence. So
interesting. And is there any difference between the word that drink word and then the word before pass in
I think, yeah, so wait, hold on. So let me just check something. Yeah, so shu wait. So shu means receive.
So there's a difference between he and he.
Yeah, it's shu is drink, to drink, and shu means to receive.
Ah, I see. Interesting. Okay. Oop.
But it's a little bit different in the sentence also. So it's like you can't say if you should pass, that's ungrammatical. You have to say if you should pass.
If you pass, like that?
If you should pass. No, the first, yeah, it just like brush them through. Yeah,
okay.
Just brush the first three things through, and wow, that was a tongue twister in English. Just brush the first three things through, and then pass is the higher bit at the end, right? So
if you
yeah,
pass.
If you should pass, yeah, that sounds great. Yeah.
Ooh, I feel special. I got it. Okay, so one last question coming in from Tom Hall, which is, how would you say you sleep?
Feeble.
Is that feeble?
Feeble. Yeah. So the same word, right? It's the feeble. Yeah.
So is it feeble?
No, it's feeble.
Feeble.
Yeah.
Feeble. So that sounds a bit different than
when you say you, like when you just say you, it's fee. But yeah, in a sentence it's like feeble.
Interesting. Well, I think that's basically our time for today. I think
Uh,
we've learned quite a lot of we've learned
yeah.
quite a lot of things.
Well, we shall do it again
Y-
because it's nearly, yeah, like nowhere near finished. So,
no, no.
yeah.
Like everything we do, it's nowhere near finished, but it's great fun.
Right, but you start a whole, you know, you start another project.
Exactly.
So,
Hey,
yeah.
we wouldn't be here if we didn't love starting endless projects. Let's be
Well, yeah.
all totally honest with each
That's
other.
the whole story of the VIverse. So,
Exactly.
you know.
All right. So let me jump back to the full screen webcam. And everyone, thank you so much for joining us. YouTube, if you like this kind of thing, do, like, subscribe, and all that good jazz. I'm supposed to say this. I never say it, but what the heck, there it is. And we'll be sure to prioritize doing more of it. So thank you so much, Quain, for joining us. Quain, any few final words for the YouTube audience?
Ding a bus.
Wow.
That means thank you very much.
Couldn't have said it better
Yeah.
myself, literally, as you've seen. All right. Thanks, everyone, and see you next time. And chat, this has been an absolute joy.
Yeah, did you enjoy this? Like, I find this personally, I'm all for it. Yeah, I find it super fun. So yeah, like, yeah, I did like fieldwork like a couple of years ago. I did in 2019 on Fijian, and I also did one in Purepecha, which is North American language spoken in Mexico, is an isolate. So there's like so much language just out there for you to explore and discover interesting things. And if not for the field workers, if not for the linguists that work in this discipline, like it's hard for us to get any valuable data, and we are biased by the languages that we know. So yeah, we need like more, we need a huge database, we need all that we can get. So yeah, this is very valuable and very interesting work, as you can, yeah, as you probably found. I hope that you enjoy this. So yeah.
Well, from what we're seeing in the chat, it looks like people did enjoy it a lot, and we're
Oh,
getting
thank
requests
you.
to see more. So we'll be sure to do that. All right. Thanks,
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah, yeah. Everyone's saying that. I hope this becomes a series. We'll do. I think we'll do. Yeah.
We'll do. All right. Thanks, everyone. See you next.